My significant other ignored me for 10+ minutes to talk with a bartender. Basically, as the title says. Me and my significant other went out for dinner one night and had drinks while we waited for our table. When we got to the bar, he began talking to the bartender because she mentioned remembering him from their other location. He likes their specialty drinks and frequents the place, especially when he's visiting a friend in a town close to ours. They talk innocently the whole time, nothing that I'm worried about. But then the conversation drags on. To the point where I haven't even been able to order a drink and start to feel ignored. The bartender blatantly ignores my existence this whole time. Same with my so. I would interject but there's no room for me to even speak, and it just feels awkward like I'm the third wheel. Then she shows him a specialty menu, away from where I'm standing and can't really see. It felt so uncomfortable to be there, although they weren't blatantly flirting. I genuinely felt invisible. So I pretend to just stare at the regular menu and hope that they end the conversation soon so I can order a drink. Finally, a second bartender notices me so I order something. Before I know it, my significant other is ordering drinks and the bartender takes the menus and turns away to start making them. My significant other turns to me and can tell that I'm upset, and asks, "What?" I tell him that I already ordered and didn't even get to look at the specialty menu. He apologizes but assures me that he ordered for me and then says, "Do you want me to get the menus back?" And I said no, it's fine. Why order a third? Lol. I insist that we sit down and my significant other decides he wants to sit at the high top within earshot of the bartender. I sternly say, "No, I don't want to sit that close to the bar." He says, "I don't want them to have to walk all that way to give us our drinks when we could just sit here." I quietly tell him, "No, I'm not going to sit here so you can just ignore me for another 10 minutes. He immediately got mad and we sat in silence at a table far from the bar. After dinner, he accused me of being jealous and ridiculous. I tried to explain that I wasn't jealous necessarily, it just upset me that I could ever be that invisible to him. It made me feel so unimportant. Anytime we talk about it, he gets extremely upset and tells me it's stupid for me to feel that way and implies I'm lying or being dramatic about how long they were talking. He claims I'm upset because I think he's cheating. But I've very clearly expressed that I don't think that. It just truly hurt my feelings to be ignored. He's pissed because you called him out for his shitty behavior towards you and he knows you're right. If you ignored him to flirt with a bartender, he'd be researching divorce lawyers. Oh my goodness. Been in the exact same spot. BF invites me out. Proceeds to talk to everyone and ignores me for long stretches. When I call him out he's defensive because he's an extrovert and just likes to get to know people and their stories. That one didn't work out, but I will say a few years later I got an apology from him for being immature and not prioritizing the person he asked out. So that was satisfying that I was also not crazy for being upset by his actions. I'd say your significant other needs to grow up and stop looking for every ounce of attention. Hard to elicit change though until they want it. You are valid in your feelings. What advice are you looking for exactly? Seems like your significant other is an asshole and you are right to be upset. I'd be pissed just having to wait that long for a drink. Let's assume for a second he didn't realize. I'm autistic, and I too can get carried away in conversations, and be unintentionally rude. Then the correct response to you pointing it out is to profusely apologize and swear to be more careful in the future. Instead, he turned it back on you, deliberately misrepresented your point, accused you of being controlling and jealous. He did not take your concerns seriously but escalated the argument to gaslight you. You deserve much better. Trust your gut. I'm just gonna say this is how it starts. Taking your fiancé's last name. Here's the thing. My fiancé was very much in love with her late husband. I'm fine with that, not a problem, etc. But she insists that I take her last name, which she got from him. I'm finding this very hard. It feels like I'm marrying into his family rather than she and I starting a new one of our own. I don't want to lose her, but she sees it as non-negotiable. Look, there are lots of easy, glib answers, but I'm looking for some considered thought on this. My friends are pretty much in run, man mode, which is reasonable but not much help. Any serious thoughts? And please, if all you have to say is nonsense, don't say it. The easy answers are easy. This really should have been discussed before getting engaged. If she doesn't want to take your name, that's entirely fair. But insisting you take his name isn't okay, not least as it seems like it's a way for her to hold on to him. She can keep that name and you can keep yours. Ultimately your options are to change your name. Or not. You don't have to run, but you can make it clear that this is non-negotiable to you. If she wants to end the relationship, that's on her. It's not even like you'll force her to change her name if keeping this name is important to her, so be it, but that doesn't mean you're obliged to change yours. What's the last name? Is it cool or famous? Are you going to end up with 2 first names like Ricky Bobby? Either way, hell no. I guarantee you that this is not the only isolated instance of her being completely inflexible and expecting you to do all of the compromising. I don't think anyone has the right to insist a name change. But inciting your new husband takes your previous husband name? Yeah, that's very close to a universal nope. She can keep her name and you can keep yours. Is this a deal breaker for her? Has she talked with her friends about it? 'Cause most reasonable people would completely understand your POV. If you're planning on having kids, have the talk about their name now. I think kids can have either parents' last name or a combo. And while her name is now her name, I can understand why you'd feel weird about your children having her first husband's last name. So talk about this as well if kids are in the cards. If you know she's still deeply in love with and hung up on her late husband, she's not ready for another relationship at this point. Do you really think it's a good idea to marry someone who is in love with someone else? I am going to side with your friends here. To want to keep it herself as a memory to him, I'd be fine with that. To make you take it? Big fat no. Missing X 24M showed up after 1.5 years and wants me 21F back. We dated for 2 years. I was 100% sure I was in love with him. Let's call him Jim. We started dating when I was a freshman and he was in his 3rd year of undergrad. He proposed to me on my 20th birthday and we thought we'd get married as soon as I finished undergrad. I know it seems too early, but we were all in it. Well, 2 years ago he disappeared completely without a word. Neither his family, friends nor I knew where he was. There were missing reports filled and everything, and all that came up was he had taken a flight to Honduras. He literally has no reason to go there, no family or work. The case was closed pretty quick, thinking he just wanted to leave his life behind. All of us continuously left him emails, messages on social media and anything he could potentially access for months, but had no response. He didn't even see our messages. Eventually even his parents gave up just accepting that their son left his old life behind. Well, after a year of hoping for him to come back and still madly being in love with him, crying my ass to sleep every night, 4 months ago my friends finally convinced me to date again. Posted about that guy a few days ago. I met a nice guy and we started dating. Well, guess what? Last night Jim showed up at my house. I was shocked, angry, happy, and I don't know what else. All he did was stand there and say, "Missed me?" In the moment I hugged him and just cried, but as soon as I was in control and we got talking, well, his explanation was, "I just had a dream that I had to go and help people there." Apparently he had been working with missionaries to help with the whole COVID situations. I don't know how much I believe that, but I'd be lying if I said I'm not happy beyond imagination to see him again. Jim doesn't know I got a BF while he was gone, and honestly, I think I'm still in love with him. But if I just break up with my current BF and go back to Jim, what are the chances he won't have a dream again and just up and leave again? Should I give Jim a chance again or go on with Alan, current BF? Peas. I swear, other than my father, men in my life have a thing for disappearing. Are you seriously considering the guy who disappeared on everyone including you for over a year another chance? Just like that? You need some self-respect. No offense, but getting back with him is like the stupidest thing you could do. I don't understand. A few hours ago you were talking about how you felt special because your current boyfriend was showing you his special place that he didn't show to anyone else. You even talked about them getting over what happened with your friend and he was going to therapy, and now you say this? I think you should break up with your boyfriend regardless of whether you get back together with your ex or not, because he doesn't deserve this. Why do you get into a relationship if you still love your ex? He intentionally ghosted everyone in his life for 1.5 years for no reason. His family. His fiancée. His friends. That shows how much he values that group. AMD considers them a priority. What on earth would make you think that trusting this man who is flakier than coconut is even worth considering? You're not a priority for him, and you wasted over a year pining for a relationship that was a lie. Now you want to restart the clock and do it again? Dude sounds like a total sociopath. The fact that you'd ever consider being with a person again who straight up abandoned you with zero remorse is whack. Get yourself into therapy and work on your self-worth. I want you to know you will live with this decision for the rest of your life. Not any of us will, just you. With that being said, His reasoning for leaving is one of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So the red flag that he ghosted everyone including his family shows either a serious lack of empathy or a deeply selfish person. He disregarded how everyone would feel including you on a whim and impulse. Does he talk about his good deeds? Does he put others ahead of himself all the time? Is he very charming and does lots for others all the time? What does he request in return? Does he tell people about his good deeds a lot? I ask this as there is a subset of narcissist that does good deeds often called white knight. Sometimes influenced by a lack of attention in childhood. He might not be one, but someone who disappears for over a year and contacts no one should not be someone you trust with your feelings, as he didn't care about yours when he disappeared. Boyfriend openly degraded me about finances and now we haven't spoken in 2 days. Hi everyone. My 25 female partner, 32 male, and I have been dating since last November. It's a little complicated, but we met living in the same town in Ireland and I've since moved to England and kept my job in Ireland, returning once a month since he still lives there. Situations changed and now he's having to move from his home in a couple of weeks' time. We're considering him moving to England with me and getting a place together. Naturally, I believe we need to discuss finances. We both know how much each other earns and I earn slightly more and would take an income bump if I look for work here in England. He is an entrepreneur getting his business up and running, and although this is promising in the future, I accept the income reality we're both facing today. I had to have this conversation with him since I take finances seriously, especially if moving in together. On a phone call 2 days ago, Saturday, he said to me something along the lines that I'll never earn as much as him and he will always have more money than I do and I need to learn my place. I expressed to him how that is extremely degrading and he admitted it was degrading, but he has to do it so that I learn my place in the relationship. He was happy to degrade me. I called him a court and hung up. Texted him a few minutes later that he is delusional and when I fly over, this coming Saturday, I'll fetch my things and that he is sick for treating a woman that way. His response: I have more earning potential than you right now, and I have a high confidence that will be the same into the future. Man shrugging, that's sick alright. We haven't spoken since. I am gutted and have no idea what to do. I kept my work in Ireland for him and have genuinely felt so connected to him and had a promising future. We've spoken every day since we met. The logistics for me to go fetch my things this weekend is difficult for me to navigate. I want to contact him to talk about this, but really he hurt me, disrespected me, and I don't even know if it's worth it. Please give me advice. Am I being difficult and unreasonable? Am I going crazy, or did he say that you'll never earn more than him while literally earning less than you? What? Anyway, he already showed you what a C-word he is, so do yourself a favor and go through with your plan. I expressed to him how that is extremely degrading and he admitted it was degrading, but he has to do it so that I learn my place in the relationship. It's very easy. Dump him. Never tolerate disrespect in a relationship. This is the best news to have happen now. At least you hadn't moved in together. Hate to have your suboptimal earning potential ruining things for you after all. He is probably lashing out because he is 5 years older than you and hasn't amounted to much. That being said, do you want to be with someone who would say such horrible things to the person they're supposed to love? He showed his true colors. Pay attention. Collect your things and wrap this nonsense up. Learn your place. What year does he think he is living in? Heed the previous advice here. Additionally, consider his insecurities as a pure and solid red flag for further abuse. Are you sure he isn't slamming his hand down on the relationship's self-destruct button?